Hey, good morning. It's day 101, and I'm off to a little bit of a late start. It's about 7 o'clock. Kind of windy where I was camped at. Took me a little while to get everything together. But hey, I'm off and running. Had a decent night's sleep. The sun's up, so let's go find out what today brings. See how far I can get. I was taking a look back, and you can still see Mount Adams back there. How's this for a morning view? Mount Rainier. So I'm walking along the trail and I see this big ski resort over here and Mount Rainier in the background. And just a little bit ago, I had heard this loud, kind of a thunderous noise, and I thought, wow, I wonder if that's like a rock slide or an avalanche or something. And then I get to about right here, and I can see their chairlift is moving up and down the middle section here, which is like right here. And it must have been them starting up the chairlift is what the big noise was. Kind of funny. So I walked around to an area that's another burned out section. It's not that bad, but the trail is wide enough for me to stop and had my raincoat on and my long pants and winter gloves because it was so cold this morning that I needed all that on to start hiking, but now I'm starting to get warm, so it's a good spot to take it off. Interesting, the trail prior to that this morning though was, we saw some of it, 6 to 12 inches wide with pretty steep drop-offs, so not really any spot to stop and take all that gear off. So that just made me think about, I've not really talked about what I hike in. I mean, you guys see my hoodie. It's a Ridge Merino, little company out of Mammoth. I really like their sun hoodies. They work great in both cool weather and in warm weather. And merino wool, for the most part, it eventually will stink, but it's not like the synthetic materials that a lot of other athletic wear. They start to stink pretty quick. So anyway, I really like this. Works well for me. My typical pants or shorts that I wear, I just have a pair of Under Armour, 9-inch shorts that are super lightweight. They dry really fast and very comfortable to hike in. Then my socks, I wear Darn Toughs with Injinji toe liners, which I'd never worn Injinji toe liners before this hike, but they worked really well for me. I've not had any blisters, so I've been happy with that. And for the clothes that I wear, I've really liked. I mean, if you're gonna wear them every day, 7 days a week, not get them washed, but maybe once a week or so, you better be comfortable in what you got on. So I guess the one other piece of gear that I should mention that I wear that you guys don't see is this fanny pack. And what I do is I put all my snacks, or for the most part, most of my snacks, in that fanny pack. And then throughout the day I can just zip it open, grab something out, and then put my trash back in there also. So it works really well. I don't know, if you're hiking, you just got to figure out what the thing is that works for you the best. That's actually two little mountains in the background over there, but I'm going to call it Camelback because it looks like a camel's back to me. Another spot where you can see the trail for a long ways. I'm walking through this burned out area again, and I was just thinking to myself how lucky I feel to be able to do this trail this year. Each year there'll be more and more burned out sections. Be interesting to know how much of the PCT is burned out right now. I mean, it's got to be, I bet it's between 15 and 20% of the trail goes through burned out areas. I mean, and this isn't bad. This is like, there's not blowdowns. It's the fire was several years ago, so there's lots of grass and stuff growing. So it's not bad to go through. But I also wonder what it was like, before this, when it was just forest. Well, I suppose I know, because I walked through big sections of forest. But anyway, just some things I was thinking about. So way off in the distance up there, you can see the Cascades, which is, the PCT goes through parts of that. So I'm in the middle of this burnt out forest, and there's just this tiny little stream flowing through here. And that's my water source in the midst of all this. I'm very grateful that it's here. Well, I'm back in the woods again. I'm not complaining in the least. So I'm coming up on a cabin called the Mike Ulrich cabin. And I'm not going to go in and walk around it or over by it. They're saying there's some norovirus stuff going around over there, so I'm just going to stay away. So this is the Mike Ulrich cabin area. Whether it's rumor or true about the norovirus, I'm just not going to risk it. Clearly they're working on stuff around here. Nice meadow out in front of that cabin though. Well, I've been walking through burned out forests and then green forests, and now I got a little view of Mount Rainier. Washington is definitely a beautiful state. I don't know, all the states are beautiful, I guess. They're all beautiful in their own way. But this afternoon, just really enjoying the scenery. So I was just taking a quick look back, and again, there's Mount Rainier. So here's kind of a cool sign that was on the, as I'm coming out of that burn area. I'll just read it real quick. You can see it on the screen, but Falls Creek Burn, 7/27/88. A fire started in Windy Gap on the Pacific Crest Trail by loggers. By 8/5/88, the fire was under control by the Forest Service and Washington Correctional Crews. Total burn 3,000 acres. Alright, this is my water source, I think, for the night. The next water source is in 12 miles, which it's 4 o'clock, so I don't think I'm going to make 12 more miles. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to fill up here and carry a full load of water until camp. But that's the way it goes. I'm grateful to have the water. Sure, it's nice and cold. It's a spring. I will say one thing about that spring water. It is ice cold. It's so cold it almost gives you like a cold headache. It's so cold. I filter it just in case. Probably wouldn't have to because it's coming right out of the ground, and like I said, it's spring, so it's probably good, but just to be safe, I always filter it. But man, it's good stuff. I'm gonna miss that when I'm off the trail. Got a few clouds on the horizon up there. Hopefully that's all going the other way. And I'll continue my streak of good weather. It'd sure be nice. Looking back behind me again. I'm on an 800-foot climb and have a little vista here I thought I'd give you a view of. Got about 4 miles to camp, about 6 o'clock at night. I think I'm at the top of my climb. If not, I gotta be close. I have to tell you, at the end of these 30 plus mile days, these 800 and 1,000 foot climbs definitely are difficult. Wow, look at the North Cascades over there. We saw those earlier today, but not quite so clear. So in the last couple hours, I've passed 4 guys hunting, 2 sets of 2. One was out of the back of a truck on a dirt road, and another was on this pass. It was all camoed up, and underneath the tree they had long rifles with scopes. And so when I went by this guy, I talking to him a little bit and just said, you know, what are you hunting for? And he said they're hunting for bears. So I guess it must be open bear season right now in Washington. Kind of interesting. So I'm getting down to a couple miles from camp, and I was thinking that I've had a couple questions about, you know, how I do the bigger mileage days. And you know, some hikers will say, man, you must be really fast. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not fast. I just walk at a steady pace the whole day, and that pace is usually, you know, it could be anywhere from, just depending on the terrain, 2 miles an hour to 3 miles an hour, or maybe just slightly faster. But most of the time, I just try to walk a steady pace. But the key for me is I don't stop. I stop to filter my water, but everything else, you know, if I get a cramp in my back, I'll stop for maybe 5 minutes or something to take my pack off. But for the most part, I just keep walking. I eat while I'm walking. I have the snacks that I was showing you guys earlier in an earlier video, and I just keep walking all day long. So like today I started at 7, I'll probably end at 8, and it's going to be like a 32-ish mile day. I don't know, I'll tell you when I do the wrap-up video. But yeah, I just keep walking all day, and that works for me. Sometimes when I stop, it actually makes it harder. It's I get all stiff, get the old band thing going, and it's hard for me to get going again. So for me, it's just easier just to keep going. All right, so here's the wrap up for day 101. You can see the sun setting behind me, beautiful view. Uh, I'm just getting to camp. It's about 8:30. I stopped and chatted with some people for a little bit, some other PCT hikers that I had seen before, so it was fun catching up with them a little bit. But I got to get my tent set up and get some dinner. So I'm only 30 miles from Snoqualmie Pass, so I could probably make it there tomorrow, but I'll probably hang just short and then go in on early Sunday morning. And but anyway, we'll figure that out tomorrow morning. So I hope you guys had a great day. I had a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Good night.